Welcome everyone to episode 410. Look at that pretty little 410. Yes, isn't it wonderful? It's an amazing Tuesday, everyone. It's an amazing Tuesday on the sick fucking gain train. Welcome everyone to 410, the 410th episode of the most muscular podcast, Swolecast live broadcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode on Facebook Live every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. Thanks for watching on YouTube if you like to watch the YouTube, and if you like to listen and get your ears raped with amazing knowledge. Like absolutely fisted, just me punching and just hammering awesome knowledge nukes into your brain cavity on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can catch them all there, so you can absorb Papa Swolio. You can absorb my knowledge seed any way you like. Any way you like, any way you want it, that's the way you're gonna fucking get it. That's where you're gonna get it. Welcome. This episode is building up into tomorrow. This episode is building up into tomorrow because, as you know, the premium webinar series continues tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are going after the mind. So the webinar tomorrow night is Fix Your Mind. Today is going to be some more mental gains for you. And you all know that I love to get swole. I love to get swole. I love to get yoked like it ain't no joke. I love to pump. I love the steel game. I love the weights. I love to get huge. Now, that being said, there's a lot more to getting big. There's a lot more to losing weight. There's a lot more to getting shredded, blah, 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 than just doing the physical. Because if it was that simple, everyone would do it. If it was that one track, like, if I got a membership and I went to gym, then, okay, I would have results. Not the case. Unfortunately, not the case. It's not that simple. That's why everyone doesn't have all these gains. Today's episode is, why is it always a pyramid? Why is importance always a pyramid? Why are the things that build discipline? Why are the things that build a long-lasting physique? Why are the principles that one builds their fitness upon and their lifestyle upon? Why is it always a pyramid? Why does it always have to be a pyramid? I think it comes because we're taught geometry. We're taught that pyramids are a very stable structure. Obviously, the Egyptians built the pyramids, or aliens. I'm not going to get into those kinds of, conspiracy theories now. But the pyramids are there, and obviously they've lasted for thousands and thousands of years. Wider at the base, smaller at the top, allows for it to weather the storms, allows for it to withstand earthquakes and shifts and what have you. Okay? So pyramids, we know, are stable structures, but obviously now we have skyscrapers, which are not necessarily wider at the bottom, right? They're here, and they look like they almost go straight up, or very gradually do they come narrower to a point. So they're like very gradual pyramids, right? But they're here. They're like going pretty much straight up. Like all these buildings just go straight the fuck up. And you're like, how does it go straight up and not fall over? How does it stay that perfectly straight? By all intents and purposes, those things don't come to a point. Like maybe they narrow at the top, but holy shit, it's not like a squat pyramid. They're like 1,000 feet tall. So when you look at how we relay important, like you have the food pyramid, which is a load of shit. We know the food pyramid is a load of shit. Not to mention it tells you to drink milk and fucking eat, bread and stuff like that all the time. The food pyramid's crap. The 2,000 calorie a day is crap. Anything you try. That's why most of these cookie cutter online programs, like cookie cutter online fitness programs and cookie cutter online, hey, I'll write you a diet plan, they don't work, because when you're trying to gauge, or you're trying to categorize, 400 million people, like, you should be eating 2,000 calories a day. How do you create a diet plan or create like a general caloric intake? 2,000 is just a nice number. It's not average for anyone. It's not the average for the average American. The average American needs a lot less because they're lazy as shit, or needs a lot more nutrients because they're not eating the quality foods. So obviously the 2,000 calorie a day diet doesn't work because the country's fucking out of shape to hell, right? So you can't say that actually works for anything. You can't say that the government requirements for exercise work because we're out of shape. They don't care about you. They're saying like, okay, it'll be good to exercise, 30 minutes 3 times a week? We mean get off your ass and walk and pick up the mail? They're giving you basic requirements, bare minimum, because no one wants to get sued. No one wants to get sued. They want to make money. They want to make suggestions, but they can't say, hey, work out 5 days a week. I don't have time, because people make excuses, blah, blah, blah. Off topic, but why are you prioritizing some things? Why are you putting things on a pedestal? Okay, so if you think of your priorities, I don't know, what would you put your priorities at, right? At the bottom, you get like what? Food, shelter. You get like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Let's say, family or community. I think shelters, I don't know if that's the first one. But then you might have like, gym, work. I don't know. You'll have like your, I'm not trying to make this super legible. I'm just giving you the concept. So you'll have gym and like, the video games and car and stuff more at the top in theory. But what's happening is because you have that pyramid effect, you're getting people that are shifting things around. You're not acting the way you should with how the pyramid should actually act. Like the foundation should be the strongest part. You're putting physical needs or you're putting material possessions more important than your own, right? So if you look at like the classic, and I'll make this a little bit more clear, the way it should, and mind you, I'm not saying that you can't use a pyramid. What I'm saying is maybe thinking of it as a pyramid is not necessarily the right way for you to think about it. Because I don't care if you think about it like a fucking dodecagon. I don't care what shape you choose as long as you get it done, right? It doesn't matter if you think of it as a circle. It's a circle. I don't care if you think of it as a circle, a square, a trapezoid, a rhomboid. It doesn't matter. A parallelogram, same thing as a rectangle. Oh, snap! But a rectangle, well, I'm not going to get into the things. A rectangle is a parallelogram, but a parallelogram is not a rectangle. Yeah. The most important thing is that you understand why or what you need to prioritize. So if you have things like your body, food, shelter, let's say you got that. Float some hearts and thumbs if you're not fucking dead, if you're watching this for a reason. Got a lot of people watching and there's no activity. So drop some comments. How do you prioritize your stuff? What's the most important thing in your life? Don't just sit there with empty thumbs. Use them. Type some cool shit. Because I'm rocking here. So, keep it jamming. Keep the pump train going. So you got your body, and then you might have your work, and then you might have like possessions. And don't forget, this doesn't mean that at the top that's the most important. That just means like things that come last. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is like the foundation. This is not order of importance. Okay, that's where I think people get mixed up. It's not the most important. The top isn't like, oh, this is like your body. Most people will do this. This is the common one. Your body. Work, and then sometimes family. Home, and sometimes, sometimes family can go here too. I'm not saying that everyone prioritizes work before family, but you're a slave to the work, right? You're a slave to your job. And if you work a 9 to 5 or a 12 to 12, whatever you do, you're prioritizing all that. This is just a very general. I'm not going over all the needs, all the requirements, but you're putting your body at the top. And I'm not saying, and this is not the right way to think about it. I'm trying to help you understand what the pyramid is really supposed to be like. The pyramids are the foundation, your body, your food, shelter, health, family, and then your work. Okay, I mean, like, you could keep your health going without, work. I mean, and then you have your other things at the top. Over here, you have your work and your family and your house and your cars and your possessions and stuff. And then you have your body. And this one would make it seem like your body is the most important. But it's not, because if you don't have this done, because this is where your priorities are. This is where you're spending the most of your time, here. And I'm not saying you shouldn't spend time with your family. I'm not saying you don't need to work. But why is your body getting the little sliver of the pyramid? Okay? So there needs to be more of a collaboration between everything. And if you download my ebook, you'll see how I do a lot of like Venn diagrams. I do a lot of circles. I like these things. I like these things because they intersect. They're all on one plane. Nothing's higher than the other. I like them because it gives you more of a realistic perspective. Nothing is more important. Yes and no. They're all interrelated. And they're all going to change from time to time. If you, let's say your health goes down, obviously your health and bring your health back up might be the most important thing at that moment. Oh, I got sick. I wasn't feeling good personally. In real life, I wasn't feeling good this weekend. So I really took a step back and I focused on my health, and I feel a lot better now. Okay? Because I usually get over things in like a day or two. But other times, okay, the Daily Swole. Right now, the Daily Swole, that's the most important thing to me right now. So I'm rocking that. If something changes, if I get a phone call, hey, there's an emergency, I'm off the show and I'm going doing something. Everything's happening at the same time. So on a day-to-day basis, things are going to change, but they're all related. If you start prioritizing, you'll start thinking about things a little bit differently. You start pushing things off as an excuse rather than it's integrated. It's part of your life. Nothing has to be this or that. You'll hear that a lot, this, that. I have to do this, then I can do that. If I don't do this, then that can't happen. I have to do A, and then B and C can happen. Well, sometimes, I know sometimes that could be the case. But a lot of times, you don't need to think of things as a chain reaction. You need to think of things like, I have to do this before that. You need to put them all in the stew. Put them all in the soup. You need to understand that they're all meddling around together. They're all available. It's a part of a system. It's part of your day. It's part of your life. It's not something that you'll get to the gym, or I'll get to do yoga later, or I'll get to the gym, or if I get to the gym. That's part of your system. That's part of your ecosystem. That's part of your existence. It's part of it. It's not something else. It's not something that comes after. It's not a list of chores. It's something that is a part of what you do, and it's a part of your life. You have to integrate it in that way. So you will have, let's say, personal. I'll just put that as like family, kids and stuff like that. You'll have your work, and I'll put fitness. And what's here? Right here in the middle? See that little spot? I'll put a big G right here. And the G stands for fucking gains. Okay? That's your sweet spot. That's your G spot. That's your G spot. So that G spot right there, it does exist. I just proved it. It does exist. Float some hearts if the G spot exists. So this episode is now called the G spot. This is the G spot map. Okay? We're changing it. We're changing it. We're changing it. This episode just got extremely appropriate. The G spot map. Now that spot, that little fucker, good luck. Nah, I'm just kidding. It exists. It's right there. It's right there. Work, personal, fitness. They all can coexist. They can. Personal and fitness, maybe this is like working out at home, right? In this little area here. Work and fitness, maybe that's working out at a gym near your work, near your job. And then you go to work. Or you go to work and then after work, you go to the gym before you go home, right? Work and personal, you have maybe some kind of a balance there. Now there's a balance for everyone. My balance is not the same as your balance. I don't have much of a balance, but that's a balance for me. It's got to be what works for you and your family and your personal relationships. But you'll see each one has an interaction. I like this because look, each of these things has an interaction with each other, but they all interact together. That's why I like these things. And you can add more and more circles. You could do 10 or 15 circles. I just can't draw that well. And you can do more of them, but it makes sense to look at like this. If you flip this on its side, it's a plane. Nothing is at the top. Nothing is a pyramid. They're all interacting with one another. They're all on the same level. They're all the same capacity. And they can all be developed evenly. And as the fitness grows, the work can benefit and the personal can benefit. None of them are unique. None of them are holding the other ones up. They're holding them all together. And that's different. The pyramid, you get that support that you pull one out, oh, it all comes crashing down. Well, if you affect one, it's going to affect the other one. It's going to pull on the other ones more. You don't take care of your fitness, it's going to affect your work production and maybe your ability, maybe your sick days go up, maybe your work days become less effective and you're less efficient at work, or you're sick more often. You take more sick days, you start cutting into your actual pay days. You don't take care of your fitness, it affects your personal life. Can't play with your kids, you can't take care of your kids because you're in a wheelchair, you're on medication. It affects your personal because your fitness affects your health, and it affects your health care, and you're paying more for medication, so it affects your personal finances for your family. Your personal life can affect your fitness. If the kids are sick, you might have to take care of your kids and it might get you sick, or your kids have soccer practice, it might push away your fitness time, you have to work out later at home. It all affects each other. They're intertwined though. It's not a pyramid. When you think pyramid, if you think pyramid, you think importance. You think up here is like number one, and here is like, I don't know, just shit. You think like shit at the bottom. You don't think foundation. People don't like to think foundation. What is luxurious? Every building that you see, every amazing skyscraper, wow, that's amazing. I can't wait. I always wanted to see the Empire State Building. I always wanted to see something. No one gets the rocks off by looking at a foundation. When you're looking at when they pour a foundation, oh, it's cool. It's a big open space. They're pouring concrete. Cool. Oh, they're putting in metal pipes. No one fucking cares. However, that's what's holding up the damn building. If you fuck up the foundation, the whole thing is going to go poof, like it's destroyed. Like the foundation has to be on point, legit. None of these buildings are standing for any other reason besides the fucking foundation. They're not standing because of a little steeple at the top. They're standing because the foundation is where all the effort's put into. I mean, the whole thing has effort, but you get my point. But it's not glamorous. And not to mention, once the building's created, you can't see the foundation. It's covered. So the foundation doesn't get any credit. I'm not saying this doesn't work, but the top isn't number one. It's just the top is the least effective in supporting the pyramid. But when you think of a pyramid, you think of like the most important thing. Like pyramid business schemes, right? You think of the number one as like, oh, the CEO, and everyone's underneath that person. You know, this is not a CEO company. This is your body. This is your life. And a lot of things happen in your life. And there's a lot of interactions in your life. So fitness, personal, work, the G-spot. You got to be hunting for that G-spot and understand that these things are not, they're dependent on each other. They're interdependent. They're interdependent on one another. They all, like a wheel, like spokes on a wheel, they are all dependent on one another. They're not prioritized. They are not better than the other, but they need to be fused together and respected with the same intensity in order for all of them to be successful. In order for this to be nice and fluffy and round and lovely looking, they need to get the same attention. It needs to get, you got to work on it all. You got to work on it all. Thank you so much for joining me for 410. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching here every day at 12 noon Eastern time, live every day. You can watch them on YouTube. You can also listen to the SoundCloud and iTunes podcast, all the episodes. This is more mental sick fucking gains. If you want more mental gains, and I'm telling you this right now, if you want more mental gains, the best place to get more mental gains is in my premium community. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, if you enjoyed today's episode, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, doing a webinar, a live webinar with open Q&A. It's called Fix Your Mind. So it's gonna be about an hour, maybe an hour and change, about Fix Your Mind. It's gonna be like this, but many more details, segmented into structured topics that are going to build one upon the other. The last 2 weeks we did Fix Your Fitness and Fix Your Food, which you can access immediately when you join because they're saved in the group. So if you sign up today before tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you could try the group for a week. It's an amazing community. But for the webinar tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and like I said, you could always access the last 2 weeks' webinars immediately and watch them in the meantime until tomorrow at 8 p.m. So don't miss out on that opportunity. I'll see all of you A to the PZ. I'll see you all tomorrow for episode 411, and I'll check you all out later. I'll probably pop on here for a couple moments on Instagram, take any questions. So if you want to join me for the After Swole party right now on Instagram, check me out, Swolenormous. I will see all of you. I'm going to pop on Instagram for a few minutes, take a few questions. Love you guys. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose. Bah, bah, bah. See you on Instagram in a few moments. Laters.